Good evening and happy Black History Month. Day 10, Wade in the Water. Water is an important image in the African American spiritual. Deep River, My Home is Over Jordan, is a song that finds hope on the other side of the river. Go Down Moses is a spiritual of deliverance in which Pharaoh's armies were drowned in the sea. Water was a primary aspect of slave experience. Africans began their captivity by traveling across the ocean to a new land in slave ships. The Ohio River was the dividing line between slavery and freedom on the Underground Railroad. The refrain of Wade in the Water is based upon the narrative of John 5, 2 through 9. It's the story of the pool by the sheep gate. A portion of this passage follows. Now there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of impotent folk, of blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool, and troubled the water. Whosoever then first after the troubling of the water stepped in, was made whole of whatsoever disease he had. Howard Thurman, who served as dean of the chapel at Howard University, helps us stage an understanding for the meaning of this spiritual in his book, The Negro Spiritual Speaks of Life and Death. Always, patient friends placed him in the same spot beside the pool. For years longer than a fading memory could hold in focus, he had waited, this man with an incurable disease. His hope rose and fell like the ebb and flow of the ocean tide. He believed the legend, for he had seen it work its perfect work in the lives of many who had once been ill, but now were well. If somehow he could manage to be let down into the waters while they were being troubled, then he would be healed. Thurman then offered this interpretation of the text. For slaves, the troubled waters meant the ups and downs, the vicissitudes of life. Within the context of the troubled waters of life, there are healing waters, because God is in the midst of the turmoil. Though African American spirituals were born in the pain, oppression, and struggle of a particular people, they have become songs for all people. Thurman's conclusion is a message for all of us. Do not shrink from moving confidently out of the choppy seas. Wade in the water, because God is troubling the water. I now present to you, Wade in the Water.